Welcome to The Grind. Before we get started on this episode, if you could take just a second and like us, subscribe to us, or follow us on whatever social media platform you haven't yet, we would greatly appreciate it. And we're also available on all the major podcast platforms. Now here's your Hey, welcome to another weekly update. Man, I'm jacked about this episode. We don't have John Mark with us today, but we've got Ian that's going to be back here in just a minute to join us. But before we get him in here and get an update from him, why don't you go ahead and share us, tag a friend, retweet us, subscribe to us on YouTube, whatever it may be. Before I bring Ian on camera and get the weekly update from him. I will tell you, had a phone call this afternoon. Went very well. We are pretty excited about the direction things are headed for us here at The Grind and with Appalachian State Wrestling. I hope to be able to talk a little bit more about it next week. We've got some calls lined up early next week as well, into later in the week. So hopefully we'll have some news coming out of that to talk about some more content that we're going to be able to bring you guys here in the near future. So good things are coming. It'd be worth following us on the social media platforms to stay in touch. We've also launched our Patreon page, if you've seen it, a way to become involved and more involved and help support us. I will tell you, just being very honest with you, that the things that we have in the works, it's going to take some support to pull this off. So any help would be greatly appreciated. And we, like I said, we will talk more about that when we can. But hopefully we'll have some news about that next week. Just a little bit, if you watched, I was on with Jason Bryant earlier in the week on Wednesday during the International Podcast Day and did a stream with him. Jason obviously has a great following. He's an award-winning wrestling journalist, has a great following. Gave me a little bit of, kind of gave me some insight, right, because we're kind of new to this. He said he had watched the programs but really didn't hear about who I was and my involvement, if any, with the program. So I thought I'd just take a few minutes and tell you guys I am a graduate of Appalachian State. I graduated from grad school in 2016. And I'm from the Midwest, like you guys have probably heard about. And it doesn't take long walking around the campus of Appalachian State and following the athletic social media accounts before you realize how successful our wrestling program is. Black and Gold podcast does a very good job of covering the football team and some other athletics, the basketball team and the baseball team. But they, to be honest with you, they just don't have the bandwidth to try to cover wrestling as well. And as we know here at The Grind, it's very tough just to cover one sport and do it well. So they really didn't have the resources to do another athletic team or another sport justice. So I didn't feel bad about taking on feeling like taking on the ownership of the wrestling team and creating a grind. And that's what we're trying to do here, is to kind of create the same kind of content, but maybe even a little bit more. Obviously, John Mark is very, very bought in with what we're doing here at The Grind, and a big part of it. Him and I are in conversations at least every other day about what we can do, the content we can provide, scheduling and that sort of thing. So I think that we'll be able to bring some more content to you. Obviously, we're dealing with the pandemic thing, so that does play a role in it, but it also does motivates us a little bit more to bring you guys content, because I know the teams are a little bit isolated right now, and most people don't have the insight that they're used to getting during a normal season, right? Some of these guys would be competing as individuals already in the freestyle events through the summer, and we would have heard about it by now and been covered about some of that. But it's not taking place. So it's what we hope to do here at The Grind is really bring you behind the scenes of the wrestling program, but also cover what they're doing on a weekly basis with their duels and tournaments and that sort of thing. So with that is who I am. My goal is simple, just to bring you wrestling content and make sure that we give that program, and as successful as it is, what it's due. I've said it before, our wrestling program is as successful, or some would argue more successful, than the football team. They are ranked just about on a yearly basis now. They're in the conversations of either being ranked or right outside the rankings of Division I wrestling. And we're sending guys to the national tournament every year. Last year we sent 6, which tied a school record, a program record. So a lot of things are going on. Obviously, Campbell's an up-and-coming program that's given us some fits recently, but winning 12 regular season conference titles is no small feat, especially for a wrestling program of our size that's only 5.5 scholarships are funded. So that is what we hope to do, and I think we're doing a pretty good job of it so far. I will tell you, I'm working on some consistency. Obviously, bringing Dominic in to host a Monday night show is going to help. It will also bring up the level of production a little bit for that. And bringing on a weekly update from one of the coaches is going to help with that as well. So that's where we're at. Just a quick update. Jason suggested it, and I'm definitely taking his suggestions because he's got a very successful program that he runs on wrestling and kind of running with it. So that is what we're doing. That is who I am. And this is Coach Ian Miller. Coach, man, how are things going in the wrestling room on Appalachian State University?
They're going good. Kind of getting back into the groove of things. Somewhat of a normal schedule. Guys are getting back in the room. They're lifting hard, so it's going good.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. You're kind of getting settled, right? You're what, your first couple of weeks in now? What are you, 2 weeks on campus now?
Yep. This is just my second week on campus, second full week. So, yep, just getting settled in, getting the lay of the land, and figuring out all the cool places around Boone.
Nice. So we're going to talk a little wrestling, and we're going to talk a little personal stuff, just living in Boone type of topics. But let's start out with wrestling. What has been your biggest surprise so far about Appalachian State wrestling?
I don't know if it's a surprise or not, but just the work ethic, the team brings to every one of the either lifts or practices, or even if we're just hosting and having an open mat. The work ethic and the competition this team has is kind of unmatched that I've really ever seen. This team's very competitive, and just watching them go at it, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, that's music to our ears, to be honest with you, man. I think I told you in our first conversation, be ready to get a group of guys that don't give up. I mean, I think I specifically told you that you're probably going to be coaching some of the best conditioned athletes that you've ever been in the same room with, and I will tell you that that's something that John Mark, as you probably know by now, prides himself very well. Even our heavyweight is going to be giving it his all at the end of the third period, trying to rack up some points. But really, that is, that's one of the characteristics of Appalachian State wrestling that I've learned pretty quickly in the few years that I've been following them is, man, those guys are gas from the opening bell to the ending bell. They are nonstop and consistently trying to score points. So I'm sure that hopefully that's come as a good. I hope that you've noticed that right away, and it sounds like that you have, because that's what we see on the mat when we get to watch those guys wrestle as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I mean, just being in the room with this group of athletes is really refreshing, and just watching the work ethic. It honestly makes coaching, really easy. You got guys motivated coming in. They're warmed up before, practice is even supposed to begin. A lot of teams, if practice starts at 3 o'clock, they're coming in at 3 and then they're starting to warm up, for 15 minutes. That really just cuts into, practice time. But our guys are coming in 15 minutes before, at 2:45 to get ready. So they're ready to go and just ready to get into practice when practice starts. So it's really refreshing and makes it, really easy on us coaches.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man. And it, like I said, it's definitely what we expect. And if you know John Mark, that's exactly what you expect out of a team that he's the head coach of. So that's good
Right.
to hear. On the individual level, right? We've talked a little bit about the team. On the individual levels, who are some of the guys that are standing out to you right now as what you see in the room? Obviously, you've got a mix of combination, right? You got an underclassmen and some upperclassmen. Who are you seeing on both ends of that spectrum that have really caught your eye so far in the couple of weeks that you've been in the wrestling room?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we got some senior or some veterans on the team, but then we also have some very talented young freshmen that I'm really excited for, the fans to get to meet and get to see compete. John and Will, they both, have wrestled with me, and, they're great. They're great drill partners. They're great competitors. So they really stick out to me, just from the competitor aspect. But then you got, some freshmen like Tommy Askey. He's a freshman, probably like a 157 pounder from New York that, he has a lot of questions, and, they're good questions that, freshmen need to know. So he's not scared to, come up and ask you, what he needs to work on or what can make him better. At the end of this practice today, he came up to me and said, "Hey, what can I do this weekend? If I can't get in the room, what can I go do that's gonna make me better at wrestling?" And I told him, go find an open field and do some shadow wrestling. You might look like a little weird to people on campus, but hey, wrestlers are a little weird. So.
Yeah, that's good to hear as well too, man. Especially those young guys like that, or they're being aggressive and questioning.
Yeah.
As underclassmen, even Dominic had mentioned that before. His first year in the wrestling room is kind of like drinking through a fire hose, right? I mean, it's just a lot of stuff coming at you, and it's really some of the first times that some of these wrestlers have competed. With athletes of this caliber. So
Right.
To have a young kid like that that's hungry to learn and be, hey, what can I do this weekend when I can't get into the wrestling room? That's great to hear. And it's, those names that you mentioned, the upperclassmen, are no surprise. It's going to be an amazing season to watch those guys hit the mat. I am completely jacked to watch those guys finally hit the mat whenever we are able to compete. That said, Coach, have we heard anything about scheduling yet? Is anything official that we haven't caught yet wind of, or what's the word on scheduling? We getting close?
I think we're getting close. I think, John Mark's been working kind of pretty hard on, getting some dates set in, and there's nothing set in stone right now. But yeah, I think we're working towards, getting some dates set in, some dual meets set up. So it's going to be exciting when that schedule gets released. I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to getting back into, structured, regular, practicing every day, and, all working towards the same goals.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of the wrestling schedule for sure, with all the COVID protocols going on, and what schools we can get signed up outside of conference, if that's possible. So that is definitely something that I'm looking forward to. The hit from the COVID test a couple of weeks ago, everybody recovered, back on their feet. Is there anything lingering from that? We've got guys that are still in quarantine, or is everybody back at contact and a part of team activities?
Yeah, so everyone's recovered. Everyone's back. This was the first week that, since I've been here, that we've had a full team training, at lifting and, getting in the wrestling room and wrestling. So we're, going through all the procedures. We're split into a couple groups. So, we got about half the team that can go in the room at each time. So we're running a couple sessions a day for wrestling, and same for lifting. Doing 2 sessions for the lifts, and kind of splitting the team in half, and just cleaning the mats and stuff after each session. So following all the protocols, and hopefully our guys kind of keeping their bubble. We kind of preach keep your bubble small. Kind of don't be hanging around people that you don't usually hang around. Kind of hang around your team, and just keep it small for now.
Yeah, that's pretty important these days, is keeping that bubble small. The less contact you can have, definitely the better. And Coach, what a lot of people aren't realizing for the wrestling team, I think John Mark has mentioned it before, but our typical days of training our team and our student athletes for you guys are now double or 3 times as long as they used to be. Because of the smaller groups. So that, I'm sure that adds to the complexity into your days. I mean, you go from long days to begin with to really long days now, just trying to get everybody's workout in. Yeah,
I mean, it's a little adversity. It's a little different, but wrestlers are used to adversity. It's kind of how we're built. So we just take it in stride. We kind of set up partners. For the guys, and they stay with that partner for 2 weeks. So it's a little bit different, because wrestlers are used to kind of wrestling one guy, then grabbing another guy, wrestling him, and they could wrestle 6-7 guys in one practice. But we kind of limited it down, so they're only wrestling training with one guy for 2 weeks, and 2-week increments. And so in case there was to have an outbreak, we could kind of catch it, keep the bubble small so it doesn't really affect the whole team. So it's just little adjustments, but it's a little adversity. But as wrestlers, we can get through it.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So Coach, you've been in Boone for 2 weeks. What do you think about Boone so far?
It's amazing. It's beautiful. I was telling my wife, moving from Oregon, it's beautiful out in Oregon. There's lots to see. It's very rainy in Oregon, and moving here, it's like the next closest thing to Oregon. It was a little rainy this week, but when it's not raining, it's absolutely beautiful here. Was it last Wednesday? We went out to that Moses Cone and ran. The team ran out there, and the view out there was breathtaking. So we ran there on Wednesday, and then on Saturday I told my wife, I said, you have to see this place, you have to see the view. So we took a drive out there on Saturday and seen it, and she liked it.
Yeah, that's good to hear, man. It's a great place to raise a family. Obviously, you guys you're just trying to get used to the program and get your routines established, so you haven't seen a lot or done a lot yet. But there is plenty to see and do in the high country. Boone is definitely a special place to live and work. And to raise a family. So you guys have a lot to look forward to. That's for sure. What else have you noticed about Boone? What's your favorite parts of Boone and the campus so far in just your short time that you've been here?
Yeah, I mean, campus. I like how everything's walking distance. It's not like a big spread out campus. You can get anywhere in about 10 minutes, a 10-minute walk, or if you have a bike, you can get on your bike and be anywhere in 5 minutes. But it's real. You can get around pretty easy. It's not in the middle of a city. I'm not a big city guy. I know there's some campuses that are right smack dab in a city, and that's not me. I was born and raised out in the country, and so I like that you can be on campus, and in 5 minutes you can be out in the country, and so I really like that as well. But it's just a beautiful campus all around.
Yeah, that's we've got Coach Ian Miller joining us for the weekly update. Coach, that is what I tell a lot of people about Boone and about Appalachian State. It's not a campus that you got to take an Uber around or get on a bus if you want to go to the other side of it. you can walk anywhere on campus. I can't promise you that it won't be uphill both ways, but you can definitely walk to wherever you're going to go on campus, and a lot of places outside of there. So you definitely hit it on the head there. I think that's one aspect of the campus that people in Boone don't realize, because not many of us go to another university other than Appalachian State, at least in the first few years. So coming from other campuses and being a part of other programs and walking around on other universities' campuses definitely gives you that that look, that feel of what other campuses are, and be able to appreciate what we have. Makes parking tough sometimes on campus, right? There's not a lot of open spots, but transportation and ways to get around and places that you have to be at on campus are definitely pretty easy to get to. Coach, how's the wife fitting in? She's enjoying her stay here in Boone so far?
Yeah, she's doing great. She likes the outdoors. She likes to go on runs and get workouts in. So actually today I met her at a park in Boone, and she got a little run in. I didn't do a run because I had a practice coming up, so I kind of just hung out and waited for her to run. But she likes it. She likes the the beautiful scenery and all that. So I think this weekend's gonna be a nice weekend. So we might try and get out and go see some more stuff, and get her exposed to Boone a little bit more.
Yeah, this weekend is supposed to be perfect up here. It'll be in the 30s in the morning. It'll warm up to about 50 degrees in the afternoons, but it is definitely a typical fall weekend here in Boone. Bluebird skies all weekend. Be clear skies. It'd be a great weekend if we were playing college football and able to have stands or fans in the stands, but as we know, the football team took a little bit of a hit and had to cancel or postpone their game next Wednesday. So hopefully soon we can get you up and get you tailgating for one of the football games, and you guys can see what the environment's like on a Saturday around here. But, it's definitely going to be a great weekend in Boone, Coach, that's for sure. Yeah,
I mean, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for my first football game. Everyone's been telling me how special they are, and I met the head coach the other day, and he seemed like an amazing guy. So I can't wait for that first home football game.
Yeah, it's a good place to be on a Saturday afternoon, fall afternoon in Boone, that's for sure. But I can tell you right now, I cannot wait to get back in varsity gym when that mat's rolled out and the stands are pulled out. Man, that is a venue that I'm excited for you to experience as well. Most people don't appreciate varsity gym because it's kind of that old school gymnasium. But I will tell you what, when they have that mat rolled out and the stands pulled out and those stands are packed and there's only room for people to stand now, it is crazy in that place, and I'm looking forward to having that come back soon. And that's one thing that, everything going on, I'm not sure how packed those stands are going to be when you guys are able to get back in there and host the team, but I'm looking forward to whatever action is going to happen on that mat, because I'm sure those kids are itching to get back on that mat.
Oh, yeah.
Coach?
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely appreciate your time tonight, and I told you I was going to keep it short for us. Give us our little weekly update. It was a great update. It was great to talk to you again. I'm glad to hear everything is going well for you here in Boone and on campus, and definitely look forward to meeting you and your wife in person sometime soon, and maybe taking you guys to a dinner or something like that in the near future. So appreciate your time, Coach. Is there any last words before we get off? Anything else we need to cover you want to talk about?
No, I really appreciate you having me on. I'm excited for this season, and our guys are training hard as ever, and they're going to be ready for whatever is thrown at them. So.
Yeah, that is awesome to hear, and I'm glad you're seeing the strengths of our program the first couple of weeks that you're in there. That's exciting for me just to know that we've kind of weathered the storm, and that they've kept their discipline and kept their focus as individuals even through this. So that's music to my ears, man. I'm glad to hear all those things are heading in the right direction for us. Coach Ian, we definitely appreciate your time, man. Look forward to talking to you next time. check us out on all your podcast platforms that you may listen to podcast on. We're there as well. Go ahead and subscribe to us. Even drop a rating and a review for us. We would definitely appreciate it. Until next time, let's get a little bit of word from Mountaineer Works for you. This episode of The Grind is proudly sponsored by Mountaineer Works. Mountaineer Works, owned and operated by Appalachian State alum and athletics photographer Chad W. Mitchell. Chad designs and builds officially licensed, unique cornhole board sets, and today I give my all plaques that will surely rock your tailgate, party, backyard barbecue, office, or creative space. They're sculptured smooth in the wood lab, fire coated at over 3,000 degrees, and paint dyed in the Cornhole Conservatory to complement their one-of-a-kind grain, then App State branded. The best part is you choose from a set of pre-approved color layouts and App State logos to personally design your cornhole boards, and today I give my all plaque. Mix it up or match it up, you can't go wrong. Show your Mountaineer pride as these make solid gifts for deserving folks. Find Mountaineer Works on Facebook and Instagram to place your order or ask a question.
This has been a production by Yosef Media.